guy from Remington said, we're coming out with a competition trap gun, because my grandpa had the tubes and said he was in the industry. And Grandpa said, well, I have a brazing department for doing the bikes, and I have a production company as well. I can make your parts. And he said, why don't you just build it for us? Okay.
So today we're here at the Kolar Arms Factory here in Racine, Wisconsin, and I'm here with the CEO and President, Sean Mainland. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Really excited to be here, right in our home state of Wisconsin.
Yep.
Before we take the tour though today, wanted to just kind of get a little background on the company itself, the history. I know that this is 3 generations. It's a family-owned business, and that's really special. So wanted to ask you a little bit about the history of the Kolar Arms Company.
Well, yeah, 3rd generation, you mentioned it. Grandpa started this as kind of his hobby shop. So he had a production shop down the road. I've got a bike over there that he was, brazing competition bikes. He was actually an Olympian himself and did all the bikes for the '72 Olympics. And that kind of started the same way too, just a passion project. And Larry Kolar, he kind of had enough. He was going to kind of get out of the industry, and Grandpa really liked his product and said, like, hey, can I buy the patents and make them up in my machine shop in Racine, Wisconsin? And they went back and forth a little bit because it was Larry Kolar's name, and it kind of got put on hold until Larry Kolar came up here and saw how serious my grandpa was and dedicated in the setup he had, and he said, yeah, you can have my name, my product, and represent it well. So it was in
Very
1980.
cool.
And we were buying guns, tubing them, and selling them. So direct from the manufacturer, like Italian guns, German guns, just tubing them, and we were actually a dealer. Then my grandpa was on a flight with a guy from Remington. The guy from Remington said, we're coming out with a competition trap gun, because my grandpa had the tubes and said he was in the industry. And Grandpa said, well, I have a brazing department for doing the bikes, and I have a production company as well. I can make your parts. And he said, why don't you just build it for us? Okay.
That's
so
awesome.
the first project they did was 10 Parkers, just so that Remington could keep that name.
Okay.
And then after that was the Remington 90T. Actually have one here.
Wow, yeah.
Trap gun only. This was forged material, so everything now is bar stock. But this really educated both Grandpa and Keith, our engineer who still works here, firearms mechanics. And these things, there's a lot that goes into them. The barrels especially, receiver, trigger. Stocks are always changing, but that gave them the base knowledge. After that, we came out with prototypes, and the prototypes were made for another company, and kind of went back and forth, and they told us we should keep it and come out with it, which I really respect them for saying, but this is going to be one of our prototypes.
All right, one of the originals.
Yes, serial number is Pro 10, prototype 10, is a first engraved gun. It was done by our in-house guy, Dennis Zeitz. He was a bike rider. That's how he met Grandpa.
Okay.
The 28-inch barrels, which we don't make anymore. There's no safety. That's something we added. A little different locking system now. Definitely a different trigger. A different latch here. You can see even that shape's different.
Oh, yeah.
How it hooks up.
Okay.
A little different hanger system, but same base idea. So we didn't make a ton of big changes, just a lot of little changes on the actual production gun.
Okay.
Yes. This is kind of a cool one. This is from '98. So we started the prototypes in '95. The productions came in '96.
Okay.
This was in '98. Same engraver, Dennis Zeitz. He did this for Grandpa.
Okay.
Big cat guy. He had big Maine Coons, him and Grandma. So this is a cat gun, which Grandpa sold shortly after he got it. Just put the money back in the company, and we yes, we saw that. Everyone likes that stock too.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. The 2 different shades there. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we saw this for sale and had to get it back in the family.
Oh, yeah.
As we're talking about history, this one's kind of cool. So this was made for my dad in honor of my grandfather who passed shortly before my dad and Grandpa got put in the ATA Hall of Fame. So this was kind of their present for that. So it's got Don Mainland, 1931 to 2023.
Wow.
It's got the Marine symbol. He was a Marine. The bottom has the Olympic. He was a builder of the '72 Paramounts. Him riding, founder of Kolar Arms. Here it's a San Diego to New York. He actually rode his bike from San Diego to New York in 14 days, and he had that record for, I believe, 11 years.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, this is a beautiful gun. I mean,
Yes.
all these are beautiful. But
What's cool is it's that same in-house engraver Dennis Lights that my grandfather found, and they were bike partners, riding partners, and that meant a lot for him to do, and of course it meant a lot to my dad when this was gifted to him.
yeah, wow.
I wanted to give it to him at the banquet, but I thought that'd be a little much for him, so we gave it to him a week before, and that was special.
Oh yeah, definitely a wonderful gift. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and then that brings us to, today. Can I ask, I guess with Kolar Arms, for our viewers, can you talk a little bit about what differentiates Kolar Arms from maybe other high-end shotgun companies?
Sure. I always start with service. We're right here, factory direct service. We have a lifetime warranty. In writing, it covers defects in material and machining, but really, if it's not supposed to happen, it happens. We take care of it. It's kind of that Midwestern and family business kind of approach to it.
Yeah.
Also, the felt recoil, our receivers being made out of bar stock, the gas seal, so how the barrels meet up to the receiver, all that recoil is hitting that breech face. Rather, if there's a gap here, it's all going to hit your hinge pin, and not only is it going to beat up your receiver, but you're going to feel the recoil too. So that's really the big things. We have one guy down in Texas who has 2.5 million rounds through his gun.
Wow.
Yes.
That is a lot of rounds.
And he was not good at service either.
No.
Yes.
But it's still running strong.
Yes, yes it is.
Yeah. Service-wise, I guess, you said outstanding service. Maintenance-wise, what did you recommend on the Kolar Arms guns for maintenance?
For like factory maintenance, we recommend an annual service every 30,000 rounds. These are meant for high volume shooting. If you take care of it, it can definitely go further. But in an annual, you replace all the springs in the trigger, the receiver, fore-end iron, the barrel. We have a little wear part here called the 4-inch shoe. So if your gun starts to get loose, that's a wear point that we'll replace. And it will scrub it down, right?
Okay, yeah.
Inside and out, polish it, make it like new.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
these things will last forever.
Okay, that's awesome. You mentioned lifetime warranties. So.
Yes.
And let's talk about customer base. Do you have like an ideal customer in mind? I know that you do tailor and customize and cater to different shooting styles, but what would your ideal customer look like?
Our bread and butter is competition level shooters. They're willing to invest into something like this to keep them going and competing. Since we're dependable, that's why they look at this. More the field hunters don't really start here, right? There's a lot of competition in that market as well, but at this high competition level, it's pretty much us and two others at that really premium point. But our customer base is all over the place. It's youth shooters, which is becoming huge. Even around here, all the high school teams and colleges, and it's just spreading. And of course, they get their parents interested because they didn't even know about this, and now the kids and the parents are shooting together.
Yeah.
There's a lot of college scholarships out there too, so a lot of these young high school kids are getting into guns at this caliber, and trying to get those scholarships and grow and.
Yeah. It's actually great. I've talked to a couple people in the area that have their kids in like high school trap shooting teams and everything like that, and they said, Kolar Arms, they've been fantastic. Like they've let the kids come on site, they take care of any kind of maintenance, they take care of any kind of customization. You guys have been really supportive of a lot of the families
Appreciate
in this area. So I wanted to give you a shout out for that.
Thank you.
Anything that you want to share with us? Any maybe future plans or products that might be coming out that you'd want to share with us?
On the future product side, we are coming out with the sub-gauge frame. It's been, I'd say, 99% designed, so we need to start making chips.
Okay.
We want to get ahead of receivers are the biggest thing. We want to get ahead of our standard receivers, and then have room to start making our prototype sub-gauge frames. So our plan is to make a few prototypes, make tweaks and stuff, and put in people's hands, and then we'll do the production.
Okay.
We plan on, we will fit our same 12-gauge trigger in there. We don't want to reinvent that wheel. The rest on a sub-gauge, it's going to be based off the round body. It's a round body. We take the side panel, machine it flat, and have a little contour there. It's just a little slimmer, sleeker look. Of course, we're shrinking down that frame. Let's shrink it down a little bit more.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, very cool. Well, no, I definitely appreciate your time, and I'm excited to kind of get in the shop and get a little tour and see how things are made from start to finish.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's take a little tour.
Sounds good.